He said in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, he said, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. The first thing God told me is that, have you noticed that dominion is God's idea? It wasn't man that told God that he wants to have dominion. God himself said to the Son and the Holy Ghost, as the Father speaking to the Son and the Spirit, I said, look, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion. In other words, it was God's idea and God's intention for man to have dominion. It is not an ambition to want to be in dominion. It is God's intention for man. So if it is God's intention for you to walk in dominion, that should be, you should agree with God. That's what I'm saying. Anything short of dominion is falling short of God's purpose and plan for humankind. I also want you to know that this is the oldest mandate of God for man. Salvation came because of the fall of man. This one, man had not fallen. Dominion is always God's agenda for man. Salvation is necessary because of the fall of man. If there was no fall, that would have been God's mandate alone. So it is God's desire, God's will, and God's plan for us to walk in dominion. That's how we were created. We were designed for dominion. I also want us to know that God also gave us the nature to support dominion. He said, in order for man to have dominion, I must do something. He said, look, let us create man in our image, after our likeness. In other words, God's that divine nature was what empowered us for dominion. Yes, we know that it was eroded by the fall of man. We know that. And that is why Christ came. That image of God that was affected by the fall of man, Jesus Christ came to correct it. And that's why Colossians chapter 3 verse 10 says, and the new man which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. Meaning that when man fell, that image of God in man was marred. It was brought low. But through Christ, that image is restored.